everybody, and welcome into another edition of Inside Tiger Football, brought to you by Rib Crib. I'm Adam Hildebrandt, joined, of course, by Tiger head coach David Alexander. And, Coach, before we get to the actual football questions, another one in the long line of COVID questions this year. School had to go to distance learning last week, which certainly changes some things. So how has that looked different for you guys as a football team?
Well, it has. It's right. Just one more hurdle. When we finally get to football during the day, it's looked the same. But as a coach, we're a paranoid group anyway. We sure love to have our kids, in a structured, daily routine. With they're at home doing the distance learning, it's a constant reminder. Hey, you guys get up. You have to log onto your Canvas, right? Our software that we use here at Broken Arrow. To take attendance, you've got to keep up with your grades. All that stuff. And you have different players that need to be in front of a teacher if they can. It helps them learn. And so we're trying to help them as much as we can, but and we're going to get through it. And it's because it's the right thing to do for the kids, the players, for all the kids in Broken Arrow. And, we're just lucky that we get to keep playing.
So obviously they're at home and doing things on their computer. Do they have like a check-in time for practice that still fits into the normal, quote-unquote, flow of a school day?
Well, what we've done is, sixth hour usually starts at 1:30, or the bell rings at roughly 1:30. We've pushed the start of our sixth hour football back to 2 o'clock. That way, when fifth hour is over at 1:30, that gives them some travel time to get here. That was a learning curve for us coaches as well, a little bit different, but it's worked out great. It just pushed everything back 30 minutes, which is obviously no big deal. You get up here at 2, start meetings, and then that's all routine for the kids, and it's great for them. It's great for us to have some kind of routine in this 2020 world of no routine every day.
Yeah, I've felt that in a big way over the course of this year. Let's talk some football. Going back to the game Friday night, the energy and the physicality in particular were clearly there in that game the other night. What impressed you the most about your team in that game?
Wow, what impressed me the most? Well, the thing that I was most happy with, Adam, was we challenged them. Okay, it's playoff time. I want you to come out of the tunnel with lots of enthusiasm. Right? Let's start this game off. Let's don't ease into it. Right? Let's start this game off on fire. And that's what they did. They came out of the tunnel and they were really ready to play, and it carried it all the way through to the end. It was a great way to start the playoffs.
Keon Barnett had a touchdown run where he absolutely ran through a couple of defenders at about the 1 yard line. Is that type of physicality something that you guys have seen from him consistently?
Well, what we've seen from him consistently is his ability to get yards after contact. That was obviously his most physical run, right? You've done all the games this year, and that was a very physical run. But it has been routine for him to break tackles, make guys miss, run through an arm tackle. But I do. Coach Alexander's got I want to call it more of a guideline than a rule, right? If you get tackled inside the 5 yard line, right, we're not giving you the ball the next play. Somebody else is going to get to score the touchdown. So obviously Keon's been around for 3 years, and he knew he was not going to get tackled inside the 5.
It was impressive because he went up against a couple guys that were bigger than him and made his way to the goal line. Griffin Stieber did the same thing a little while later. So that was a lot of fun to watch. You guys kind of raced out to a big lead early in that game. How did you feel like the team did, staying focused and kind of keeping their foot on the gas throughout the course of that contest?
Very well. We came out at halftime and we, the first group continued to play for about halfway through the third quarter, and they played really well. Created another turnover, got another touchdown, so played very, very well. From about the 5 or 6 minutes left to go in the third quarter, we started substituting. We didn't wholesale change, but we started, the subbing the 1 and 2 guy, a few guys at a time out, and it was good. It was great to get some of those guys some reps, but I was really pleased with the way the team responded.
On first down, the offense averaged more than 8 yards a play over the course of their first down plays in that game. When you have that kind of success on first down, how does that aid your offense overall?
Well, you don't go into a game thinking, hey, we're going to average eight yards a play on first down, right? It's just it's a product of great execution offensively, both on the line and in the backfield and quarterback and receivers. It's just it was a great week of preparation. You have to give Coach Wilkinson and his offensive staff some credit for putting the plan together to take advantage of what Putnam City was going to do. And, then of course, most of the credit goes to those kids for really playing hard.
Spav, with that being said, says all the time, hey, third down success starts on first down. You had
Sure.
a lot of success on first down, but you're only 1 for 7 on third downs. How did you kind of diagnose that as you went back and broke down film and those third down struggles in that game?
Well, the third downs, there was probably 3 of them there in the third and fourth quarter when, right, it wasn't Jake Raines handing the ball to Marion or Sanchez. So, but even still, 1 out of 4, 25% is not what you're looking for. We had a couple errant throws. We had a missed block on one of them. So, that will be a key statistic this next Friday night.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that one Friday night against Union. That is at half of Tuttle Stadium, I guess, right now. But
that's a good way of putting it.
Looking forward to that contest. We will talk about the defensive side when we come back in just a moment. You're tuned into Inside Tiger Football, brought to you by Rib Crib.
Just a reminder, there will come a time when they can no longer share a bedroom. That's why we have a complete array of home loans, so that dream of more space can come true. Right on time. First National Bank of Broken Arrow. The right balance.
Finding your happy place is something special and different for everyone. You probably already know where to find yours, and TTCU Federal Credit Union can help you get there. Talk with our team. We'll give you the tools to build the financial future you want. So wherever your happy place finds you, TTCU will meet you there. TTCU Federal Credit Union. Life is better in balance.
Welcome back to Inside Tiger Football, brought to you by Rib Crib. Adam Hildebrandt and head coach David Alexander with you. We just talked about the offense. Let's flip over to the defensive side of the football. And we hit a little bit in that first segment on the start of the third quarter and how well the team played at the start of the third quarter. You guys gave up no points and all of 10 yards to PC in that third quarter. Were there some adjustments made at halftime that helped with that? Not that they had a lot of offensive success in the first half, but that's a pure lockdown for 12 minutes.
Yeah, no, there were no adjustments to be made because obviously the defense had played fairly well in the first half, or maybe better than fairly well, and it really was. We started to wear them down a little bit. Their quarterback had been banged around quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
They're running. He wasn't having any time to throw and not having much success running the football. I think it was just an accumulation of they were behind at halftime, and the quarterback was getting beat around a little bit. And so I just think, we kept playing at the same level, and maybe Putnam City just said, man, this Broken Arrow football team is really physical.
Absolutely, yeah. And with a quarterback like Marcellus Hawkins, who's the PC quarterback, and we'll see something similar at Union this week, guys that are that athletic and can get out of the pocket, contain becomes very, very important. How did you feel like those guys up front graded out in terms of keeping him in the pocket and not allowing him to scramble around a lot?
Well, after the first series, I think they did a fantastic job. If you'll remember in the first series of the game on the third play, he scrambled it was a 3rd and 9 play, and you've got to get off the field on those, and he scrambled and got a first down. And, those are, because that's if you tackle their quarterback, if you tackle Putnam City's quarterback, you were going to have success. And so to let him out on the third play of the game was not ideal. But there weren't very many times after that he was able to get I don't know if he scrambled for a first. He might have scrambled for one more first down, but that's pretty good for a guy that's done all that he had done for Putnam City all season.
He certainly had the ability to scramble all year, kind of when he needed to, and so locking him down a little bit was a big accomplishment. Jadanian Floyd Wright absolutely lit up a couple of guys on Friday night. He had another very physical game, and he plays a little bit of a unique position defensively. So what are some of the specific challenges that he faces, and why is he able to perform those duties?
Well, Jadanian, he's just a junior, and he's already figured out, which is an amazing thing for a junior, how to play fast. He plays full speed all the time. And a lot of high school guys think they're playing full speed until they see themselves on film. And Jadanian just plays so fast and so, 100% all out all the time. That allows him to get to the ball. He's, the other side of the field, he's over there close. He's had a fantastic season. He's a little bit of a hybrid, right? He's probably, if you were going to characterize him, he's a strong safety, right? In the older school vernacular, we use him as a linebacker, in run situations and flat safety in passing situations. He's got to know a lot of football, and he's got to be physical because we ask him to get in the run game. So we give him a lot of opportunities to make plays because of his ability and the trust we have in him. But, for just being a junior, he's really, really turned it loose, and he's playing fantastic football.
You mentioned in our first segment that you were able to get some guys in on both sides of the ball that to get some experience, especially in a playoff format, because you only have so many of those games a year. How did you feel like those guys performed on the defensive side, in particular, that were able to rotate in and get some snaps?
Well, they performed like guys that hadn't played a lot in big games. But that's why you do it. That's how you build a program. So, obviously that game we were going to win it. It was in hand. You get those guys out there and get that experience of being on the field. The coaches are 40 yards away from you, making calls. You have to make adjustments. You have to line up correctly, and then you got to play hard. And that's tough. That's a tough transition for a young guy for the first time. But that's how you build a program, a sustaining program that's going to go win.
You mentioned the speed of Jadean Floyd-Wright and being able to get across the field to fly to the football, and that's a subject we've talked about a lot in terms of the turnover game and creating turnovers and how you have to get multiple guys to the football. Did you feel like the defense got to the football with the kind of energy and speed that they needed to, not only to win that game, but to make a run in the playoffs?
Yes, 100%, Adam, 100%. We went through a big stretch in the middle of the season of not getting hardly any turnovers. We went probably 4 or 5 games with just getting one turnover against Edmond Memorial. So to win these big games, you have to have the ball more times than your opponent. And the only way to do that, there's a couple ways to do it, but the biggest way is to get 4 or 5 guys at the tackle, right? Whether it's a pass or whether it's a run. That way, if the ball squirts out, it's on the ground, you've got guys that can recover it. So, to do that, it's just completely effort.
Absolutely. I don't remember what game I was watching Saturday, but a ball popped out basically behind the center and sat there by itself for about 3 seconds, which it felt like an eternity because you don't usually see that happen very often. That's a look back at the defense and the win against Putnam City on Friday night. We'll look ahead to the contest against Union when we return in just a moment on Inside Tiger Football, brought to you by Rib Crib.
Recently, you've had to put your life on hold, and we're with you in this. At Ascension St John, we're now open for appointments, and we are fully prepared for your safety in our care. As we open our doors again, our doctors, nurses, and care teams will continue to wear personal protective equipment. We've taken even more steps to clean and stringently disinfect all areas. We will maintain distancing in our waiting rooms, and will continue to limit visitors. And we will still screen all staff to protect their health and yours. Our emergency rooms are here 24/7. Please do not delay care. We're still delivering babies and performing surgeries. And we're open for your appointments, from specialists and surgical care to routine care and health screenings. Ask us about virtual visits. Ascension St John continues to care for you, as we have been for almost a century. Thank you for trusting us.
We're back on Inside Tiger Football, brought to you by Rib Crib. Tiger head coach David Alexander joining us. And coach, you got a rematch this year against Union, which is not uncommon in the 6A1 playoffs to play somebody you've already played. And we hit on this some back when we were playing Owasso and Union at the beginning of the year. But what's the biggest difference between facing a team for the first time in the season and facing them a second time in the season?
Well, when you face a team for the second time in the season, you do as much scouting of yourself as you do of them. You want to look at yourself very thoroughly. You want to know what's Union looking at? What do they see, and how are they going to attack us or defend us? So we did a very hefty self scout. We think we know. We thought we know who we were, right, and what we we're going to try to do, and now we think we know, or we hope we know, what Union thinks of us. So it's again, another thing we've talked about a lot, Adam, right? Coaches are paranoid people. And so, you hate it, but it is. It's just part of being in 6A1, and that's what it's going to be.
This is going to sound like a random question. Have you seen the movie The Princess Bride? It sounds like, and they think we're going to do this, but they know that we think they're going to do this, and then you go back and forth. It can go on forever.
Sure.
How do you contain that kind of mental chess match to say, okay, this is what we think, but we can't get too far away, obviously, from what we're good at?
Well, right. So you take what you're good at, right? Number one, right, and you emphasize that. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna live by this. So how is Union going to defend it? Are there any tweaks to it? Right. You don't get away from your best stuff offensively or defensively. You just right. Is there a soft spot? Is there a weak link? And can we cover it up?
How is your team different than it was in September, the last time you played Union?
Well, defensively, right, it's the number one thing. We've got a new defensive coordinator from last year. We didn't get spring football. We didn't get the team camps. And it took quite a bit of time, just the kids learning the defense and the defense understanding, how to perform it, and then putting it all together. And, boy, I really think the last 3 or 4 weeks we've really looked quite a bit different. And we're getting the results. We're getting turnovers. We're getting third down stops, and we've scored some touchdowns on defense. Right, points on defense are huge.
On the flip side of things, Union was winless the last time you all met, and remained so after the game. They've won a bunch of football games since then, and have clearly gotten better. So what's the biggest way that they're different now?
Well, they were dealing offensively with the same thing we were. A new offensive coordinator for them, and they didn't get spring ball or team camps, and it took their coach Maddox, that's the offensive coordinator over there, some time to figure out his kids and for the kids to figure out the scheme and what fits best for them. The team that rolls out there for Union offensively does not look anything like the team we played offensively in week 2, almost completely different. And so they've got to have a ton of confidence because they've been rocking and rolling since midseason.
Obviously, we know, and we talked about it back in September, the kind of talent that A.J. Green is at running back. What did you feel like you guys did well with him in that game that needs to continue in this one?
The number one thing with A.J., right, is don't let him go get his shoulders square to the line of scrimmage. You hear that a lot if you've watched college football. We've got to make him, turn his shoulders to the sidelines. He was the fastest player in the state, fastest track guy in the state last year. And so I'm sure –
I doubt he's gotten any slower.
No, yeah. And so he's still extremely fast, and he's big, and he's super, super talented. So, we've got to take some of that away from him. We've got to clog up the lanes. We've got to get off blocks defensively, and we've got to make him run toward the sideline.
What is one key that you're looking for from the Tigers on Friday night?
Well, we've got to continue – a couple things. We've got to continue to get turnovers, right? We're a run-predominant offense, and Union now is a run-predominant offense. They're going to run the ball 70, 75% of the time. So, which means possessions are going to be limited, right? If both teams get 7 or 8 possessions, I think that'll be a lot. And so if you win the turnover battle by 1, your percentages of winning the game go up a bunch. If you can create more than that, you've given yourself a really good chance.
Well, we'll be looking forward to it. Broken Arrow taking on Union Friday night at Tuttle Stadium. We'll have that one for you on ArrowVision. That's head coach David Alexander. I'm Adam Hildebrandt. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of Inside Tiger Football, brought to you by Rib Crib.